We're over halfway through October. Where are things headed for real estate? You'll be shocked when I show you. Hey there, Christian Walsh, Coldwell Banker Wire Associates. We are real estate brokers based in Orange County, California, serving all of California and beyond. And we're here to help tenants and landlords, buyers and sellers. And we're here with a big update, another one of our half-monthly updates we've been doing. And you probably wonder, why do you do so many? We are looking for the trajectory of the market. We want to track it closely to see if and when things change. We saw in the beginning when things dipped, and we've seen things go through the roof. We're about to tell you what's happened in the month of October so far. This video, we got a lot of ground to cover. We're gonna tell you what's supposed to be happening to the real estate market this time of year. Every year it does this same thing as we get into the holidays, and we're gonna show you for single family and multifamily in OC and LA and Fontana for you, Justin. We're gonna show you what's actually going on in the market. Then we're gonna cover third quarter foreclosure data. So the notices of default and the notices of trustee sale for LA, OC, and San Diego. And make sure you stick around after I'm done going through the data, because there's an important warning and message in that data that I want to make sure that I share with you. What is supposed to happen this time of year when it comes to the real estate market? We're going to show you the incredibly consistent trend using a tool we have exclusive access to as a realtor. This will show you that what happens every time, and we're going back to 2008 to 2009 when the entire world was falling apart back then. But just zoom in and take a look at this. You can see December, that's a record low. These are pending sales, so this is what happens. Every time around December, things slow down and stop selling. It's just there's a lot of other things to do. So you can see every one of these troughs is December. So keep on going through all the years until you get to 2019 bottoms out, and then we have a new bottom for pending sales in the month of April. We all know why, and then things shoot through the roof. It's easy to see the trend. Summer comes and goes, and so do the sales, and they start to drop. They peak in the summer, May, June, and they go down and dip to the bottom in December. This year is absolutely unlike any other we've had in recent history, maybe ever. We have our bottom come in April, and then we continue to shoot up. So that is what typically happens this time of year. We're supposed to see a downward trend. Now you do see on here, you see this big dip. But to be perfectly honest, I think they're still updating their data for September, because I've seen this happen before where it shows a big dip when it's not there. That's why I also use MLS data, where I actually crunch the numbers to get pending sales, because it tends to be more accurate until this one has sorted through all the data. It is time to take a run through the data. I hope you're excited about this. Another big month here. Can't wait to share. So let's dive in. So we're going to start with Orange County first. Again, we're always talking about single family condo townhomes. This is the first 2 weeks of the month. We want to see what's going on. And lo and behold, yet again, we have another amazing record month. And this time, what you're going to see when we look at the data for the respective areas, you are going to see a much bigger jump between the previous 2 weeks running backs, 2019, 18, 17, 16. And here is why. As we get further into the year, sales typically slow down. As we come into the fourth quarter, sales start to slow down. This year, we're making up for lost time, and it is absolutely evident. So you can see up here that sales are way up. I mean, almost double of 2019. And those would have been pending sales. So those are previous escrows, but sales are way up. You can see escrows are way up over previous years. And this is actually good news. Listings are up over previous years. We don't want to see too much of a crunch where we don't have enough inventory. But looking here, you can see just about every new listing is vacuumed up and goes into escrow. So that's why we're still seeing, in Orange County, we're still seeing multiple offers. And Los Angeles is a very similar story. First 2 weeks, we're better than September and on every single aspect, sales, escrows, and listings. So you can see, I mean, again, year over year, going back, this is the time of year where it starts to show dramatically. just how much above we are the 2 weeks in years past. As normally things would start to go like this, they're still going up. They're still going into the new record levels. And that's why we include in the data the last month's 2 weeks as compared to this month's 2 weeks, because that's the other thing we're trying to track. In addition to the year-over-year numbers that we have going this way, we also want to show you month-over-month to identify the trends. So let us see, we added in a new one, and this is for Justin, your request. We added in Fontana. So Justin was telling me that in Fontana, that it's just like everywhere else in Southern California right now, that there's multiple offers and things are getting snatched up. And I already knew this because I actually do have a client that's looking out here, found a good agent for him out there. And just as I could do for you literally anywhere in the US, I can find you a good agent if it's not a spot where I practice real estate. But you can see, and Justin's 100% right, and this is why there's record pending sales. You see the escrows are way up. And you see the good news here is the listings are up, Justin. So inventory's coming, but it's getting vacuumed up. 93 escrows, 102 listings. Doesn't leave much new inventory. So I put that in there for you, Justin. I hope you appreciate that. Time for multifamily, and not gonna drag this one out. Still incredibly boring. You can see. So the sales are up a little bit. That would have been pending escrows from before. New escrows are up a little bit in Orange County. Inventory's up. You can see there's a big difference between the number of buildings that went into escrow and the number of new listings. So we'll see at the end of October, we may start to get a glut of multifamily listing. I've been watching that carefully. That is a possibility. And LA is a similar tale, not all that exciting. Closings, the sales are actually low, and escrows are uneventful, nothing exciting there. And new listings they're up, but not a record. So like we mentioned before, LA has an eviction moratorium, and that's going to continue going here for a little bit. Orange County has the AB 3088, but LA's eviction moratorium is more strict. So that's why if tenants aren't paying, it's going to be tough to sell in LA, as it is tough to sell anywhere in California, but in LA because of the eviction moratorium. It's a little riskier for landlords and investors to purchase. Foreclosure data time. So we've been adding this in. We're excited. We've scrubbed our data, making sure we're giving you nice, clear, accurate data. And we're doing Orange County, LA, and San Diego this time. And this is quarterly. This is the third quarter going back many years, so you can see year-over-year trends. And this is third quarter, like I said, LA, San Diego, and Orange County. We're gonna start with Orange County. All three, you're gonna notice just how low notices of default and notices of trustee sale are this year. And this is going to continue into next year. The foreclosure sales aren't going to come early in the year because they still have to get through the notice of default and notice of trustee sale. And we are way behind. You can see notices of default are half of where they normally are. Notice of trustee sale way down. And you can see how it compares to going back to 2009, third quarter 2009. Look at the number of notices of trustee sale that were filed. I mean, that's just a huge, huge number compared to what we see this year. I had a great question. Now we're getting into LA, similar thing. Had a great question on YouTube, and I appreciate all those comments you leave. Please give me any feedback on there. Be nice if you can, but ask any questions. It's really helpful for me because it helps me shape these videos. And there was a great question from one commenter who asked, is the inventory shortage related at all to the lack of foreclosures, the record low foreclosures? And it really got my gears turning. It's not 100% obviously of that. It's just basically not enough inventory, not enough sellers selling. But it is part of it. You can't say that's not part of it. When you see that notices of default and notices of sale, trustee sale are half of where they are, that's 500, 600 missing foreclosures, which we're not promoting foreclosures. We don't want to see people kicked out of their homes, but that's missing inventory that would help make up for the lack of other inventory of non-distressed sellers. So on some level, it is helping exacerbate the shortage problem. So LA, just huge numbers. It's a huge place. This is all of LA County. And we've also done something different on this report. We're actually showing all foreclosure property types. Before I was just doing single family townhouse condo, and we'll go back to that. We'll compare these numbers. So this includes all property types, including commercial properties, and you can see the numbers are still significantly down. So it's not like we're seeing a huge increase in commercial properties, which they don't have the same foreclosure moratoria. So those theoretically could be foreclosed on, but we're just not seeing that inventory hitting yet either. And of course, look at LA and look at the number of trustee sale notices that were filed in 2009. That's just a crazy number, absolutely crazy. And like we said, San Diego this month as well. We'll continue to add this in, similar to Orange County numbers, I would say. But the notice of trustee sale back in 2009, those are very high. Those are definitely higher than Orange County. Let's compare Orange County and San Diego, and you can see the numbers aren't too far off, except when it gets to 2009, just how dramatic the number of trustee sales there were back in 2009. Quite a few more in San Diego. So you can see similar trend, no surprises. Notice of default, notice trustee sale, all down across the board. So most of Southern California, we are seeing this trend. Foreclosures are way down, which means that REO inventory, bank-owned inventory, is going to be pushed. We're not going to see first quarter necessarily a huge wave, but we're going to keep on these numbers, keep tracking it. And we're back. So how about those foreclosures? So what's the big warning, the big message I was talking about in the beginning, and I told you to stick around? And if you did stick around and you haven't done it yet, make sure you hit that like button, because I'm about to share with you the warning in the data. So here's the big issues. We do not have enough foreclosures. Now, what does that mean? I am not wishing foreclosure on anybody, any residential homeowner, multifamily, commercial property owner. I don't wish that on anybody. But in any normal market, like I discussed in the data and I showed you, any normal market has foreclosures. In extreme markets, we have extreme numbers of foreclosures, as you can see in those 2009 numbers. But here's what's disturbing in the 2020 numbers, and that is not enough of them. So what we're finding is that we're not doing enough foreclosures. LA for the third quarter on notices of trustee sale, we're down by 1,000. That is a lot of foreclosures to be behind on. What that means is we have a lot of catching up to do. So to get back to a normal market in LA in the third quarter, you'd have to have done another 1,000 notices of trustee sale. We have to catch up on those at some point in time because, again, any normal market, we're going to have the usual flow of foreclosures. We're not foreclosing. We're not doing it right now. So we're going to have a big backlog that continues to build up. These foreclosures, the normal foreclosures, are building up. This does not include the folks that are never going to be able to afford their real estate. Again, no matter how long forbearance is, there's folks that are just purely distressed. They are going to lose their real estate. We're not even talking about those. We still need to get to normal foreclosure levels. So this is a very important trend to watch. We need to see more notices of default filed. And at first, once we start to see above normal levels of notices of default, that's actually not a bad thing because we have to catch up on all the foreclosures that we haven't done yet. But then we're going to have to catch up, get to normal levels, and then we're going to have to catch up on those folks that are distressed. So this is an important point I wanted to share with you. Some folks are saying we're never going to get a foreclosure wave or tsunami. And unfortunately, if we continue in this trend, we will, and it would be just normal foreclosures. We'll get a big wave of those. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel make sure you're subscribed to our email newsletter. There's a link down below. We also have a link if you're in the OC or LA area that you can subscribe to receive any new REO, any new bank-owned homes. You'll be sent those directly. There's a link below for that. So thank you for tuning in. We're going to keep this content coming. We've got a bunch more coming related to foreclosures, other important issues for tenants and landlords, and of course buyers and sellers in California and beyond. This has been Christian Walsh, Coldwell Banker Wire Associates, and we appreciate you.